Welcome to this edition of Times Techies Friday Plus Plus. I'm Sujit John, and I have with me my colleague Shilpa Fadnis. The two of us will moderate this discussion. We hope you and your families are staying safe and doing well. Our discussion today is on data-driven approaches for increasing business productivity. And we are having this in association with HPE Enterprise and Savex Technologies, the IT products distributor. For several years now, we've been hearing words like data is the new oil, data is the new business oxygen. Many organizations have begun to understand the value of data. Today, we have with us a great panel that can tell us about the kind of value they have been deriving from data and what are the best ways to collect data, clean it, store it, process it, analyze it, and extract business value from it. We have with us Kamal Kashyap. Kamal is Director for the Storage Business Unit in Hewlett-Packard Enterprise India. The storage group includes primary storage, all-flash and hybrid storage, collaborative platforms, big data storage, and hyper-converged infrastructure solutions. Kamal joined HPE in 2000 and has since served in various roles in enterprise sales, including as country manager for key accounts in SME. Prior to leading storage, Kamal served as the director for public sector in HPE India. Welcome, Kamal.
Thank you, Sujit.
We have with us Deepak Sharma. Deepak is President and Chief Digital Officer at Kotak Mahindra Bank. Deepak drives digital transformation, business model innovation, and future-ready initiatives of the bank. Under his leadership, Kotak has launched several innovative and global first products such as 811 Jai-Fi. Jai-Fi, is that how you pronounce it, Deepak?
That's Jiffy, but yeah.
Jiffy, okay, Jiffy, sorry. Hashtag banking, Kmall, WhatsApp banking, and KPay. He drove new initiatives like API, Open and Connected Banking, Conversational Banking Bot, and BYOD, Biometric Banking. Prior to joining Kotak, Deepak was part of the leadership team of consumer banking at Standard Chartered. Welcome, Deepak.
Thanks.
We have with us Saurabh Tiwari. Saurabh is CTO of PolicyBazaar.com, India's leading insurtech company. He is an IIT Kanpur graduate. He was with IBM for over 5 years and joined PolicyBazaar first in 2010, soon after it was founded. In 2016, he left to join JEP Worldwide, the supply chain and procurement consulting and software company. He returned to PolicyBazaar in February 2019, and since then, he's been responsible for tech innovations and providing seamless customer experience. Welcome, Saurabh.
Thank you so much, Shilpa.
We have with us Bijoy Mitra. Bijoy is General Manager at Savex Technologies. He is a chemistry graduate from Jadavpur University in Kolkata. He has over 20 years of experience in IT distribution. At Savex, he is currently responsible for managing the business for several OEMs in the enterprise space. He loves photography and traveling. Welcome, Bijoy.
Thank you.
And we have with us Manpreet Singh. Manpreet is the business head for storage portfolio at Savex Technologies. He's a product specialist for hybrid IT and has over 13 years of experience in IT distribution. At Savex, he leads a team that manages relationships and business with a number of OEMs in the enterprise space. Manpreet loves movies and traveling. Welcome, Manpreet.
Thank you.
Those of you who are viewing this can send in questions through the comment section. Sujit and I will put them to Kamal, Deepak, Saurabh, and Bijoy and Manpreet. Let me start with you, Kamal. What is your sense? Are a lot of companies in India now using data-driven approaches to increase business productivity and also drive better customer relationships?
Kamal?
Kamal?
Yeah, I missed a bit of the question, so if you could repeat that, please.
Sure, Kamal. What is your sense? Are a lot of companies in India now using data-driven approaches to increase business productivity and drive better customer relationships?
Oh, yes, absolutely. And, it's just not this aspect, but what we see is that data is at the heart of what our customers are doing. And every aspect of their businesses, they're looking for a data-driven transformative approach. And that's like top of the mind for every organization. And that's also driving the imperative for IT, to kind of actually shift from managing storage that has been traditionally the approach to unleashing the power of their data. And it's actually all about empowering your data innovators with real-time access to production data, and has everything to do with protecting your data wherever it lives, especially in the increasing threat landscape that we see today. it's also about how to mobilize your data to accelerate applications and free it across hybrid cloud. You look at any organization and they're seeing a huge amount of growth in data across the spectrum. Right from the edges where you and I interact with different organizations, where we interact with our own organization, things like IoT devices data, things like the video data, and so on and so forth. And then there is of course core, which are the primary or core applications of any environment, whether it's core banking for a bank, or whether it's a ERP for a manufacturing setup, and so on and so forth. And the reality is that this whole data and infra management is extremely complex today. And this complexity is what is impeding the data-driven transformation. And when you look at across your data and infra management workflows today, you look at fragmentation, you look at silos in terms of how data and infra are managed across life cycle. If you look at infra, you look at the multiple tier of storage silos that have to be managed individually across different flavors, right from edge to core to cloud. And when you look at data, you look at the life cycle of apps across test, production, archival, and so on and so forth, and the tools that are required to manage it, right? And one of the surveys talked about as many as 23 tools across an enterprise that are being required to manage your data, right? And so hence, if you kind of summarize it, you see two challenges. You see a challenge around managing storage at scale, which is rife with complexity. While it's gotten simpler to manage 2 or 3 arrays compared to the earlier times, but managing storage at scale, when you deploy fleets of arrays across the edge in your core as well as on the hybrid cloud, it gets a lot more difficult as customers continue to gather, store, and lifecycle their data. And when they look at harnessing the power of the data. So these are the two complexities that any organization is facing today. And hence, at HPE, we are beginning to transform data and infrastructure management for hybrid cloud, a visionary approach that we call as unified data ops. And this unified data ops is the North Star for HPE and our customers because it represents a new data experience that affects everyone across their organizations, from data managers to data innovators. And that is what helps accelerate data-driven transformation. So if you were talking about CRM, so if you allow this, then it ensures that people not only just get access to data in a real-time environment, but it also ensures that you understand the context of the data and what they're storing and operating upon. And this whole unified data ops vision gets translated into a data infrastructure in multiple facets. One of them, for example, is Data Services Cloud Console, a cloud console that delivers cloud operational agility and unified data ops as a service to our customers, right? And if you picture a simplified and streamlined device deployment process that can be completed in minutes, new systems that are automatically discovered and onboarded, and for an administrator or for an IT organization, it is as simple as cabling up your system, turning it on, and after a few simple configuration steps, the system is available for use in your fleet. Now, you take this and you leverage the AI ops that we have built into the system, and you get additional features like intent-based provisioning. So automating, optimizing app deployment with intent-based provisioning is so simple. This unique service eliminates guesswork, spreadsheets by ensuring workloads are always deployed on the right resource across a global fleet. Intent-based provisioning transforms storage provisioning from a LUN-centric manual process to an AI-driven approach that leverages real-time context into resource headroom, application-specific SLAs, and it just helps you optimize your data wherever it is stored automatically. And when you combine it with role-based access control, it kind of enables self-service provisioning without the need for storage expertise. And that enables the developers to deploy applications a lot faster by shortening the data infrastructure provisioning from days to minutes, accelerates the app development cycles, and makes it possible for an effortless app provisioning experience demanded by today's fast-paced DevOps process. So That in a nutshell, I was wanting to convey around how we're bringing a transformation to the customer environment, from managing storage to managing the data, and thereby refocusing the resources and skills on a higher value strategic initiative.
Okay, unified data ops. So we'll get more into those technologies later. Deepak and Saurabh, wanted to ask you first. You know, we'll get into more the technologies that you use later. But how has data helped you in understanding customers better, improving business productivity? Deepak, can you start off? Can you give us some interesting examples and how that has helped you?
Sure, Sujit. So as you know, I think every business has become data business now, but financial service always had a lot of data, but they could not do enough about mining this data and creating value out of the data in the past. But I think in the last 3 to 4 years, I would say the pace has just been far higher. So as I look at leveraging data part, I think what Kamal was talking was more about managing and storing, and I will talk a bit about leveraging data in our context. I think one of the things we have started to build around is the whole immersive technology and experience layer around data, which is what powers be it the customer interaction or our fraud risk management and real-time authentication, or looking at the credit and risk part of it, where we are either looking at the whole anti-money laundering, real-time transaction monitoring, understanding the portfolio management and the risk on a real-time basis, predicting the delinquencies on the portfolio. So some of those is where the data is largely sitting the use cases at the back end. But a couple of interesting things that we embarked and delivered. One was understanding customers better. And I think today we have 30 different customer personas that we have curated at the back of this data, which covers their lifestyle, their demographics, their preference, what kind of product, income level. And then depending on this, we are able to customize our offering and be more targeted in our communication to customers. The second is using the data that we have both within banking as well as what we get through bureau and from other sources. The whole lending product itself, we have been able to curate, be it in terms of amount of loan or the lending instruments, or the pricing or the tenure of the loan, because there are many variables when you take a credit decision. And there again, richer the data, you are able to do that kind of curation that much better. And the third, I would say, is leveraging data. We have been able to gain 25 to 30% productivity in our digital workforce and through our channel where we interact and engage with customers, because you're able to predict a lot better that what kind of product or service should you be recommending to a certain customer. And as we go more targeted, you see a much higher throughput there. And of course, the last I would say, what I was talking is the real-time fraud and risk engine, because for banks, that is the heart of what we do. And data helps us manage some of those risks and take the real-time call as the data is flowing through our system. So yeah, these are some of the examples. What I would go.
25-30% improvement in productivity and being able to target better, is it, customers?
Yeah, in the customer targeting, because see what may happen, it was happening, Sujit, I may reach out to you for a product that you're just not interested in. It's a waste of marketing effort, sales effort. As we start understanding the customer persona, the propensity, the next best product or offer, the whole productivity of the machinery, right from campaign to marketing to communication to this, finally the sales, all that improves across the value chain.
Okay. Similar for you, Saurabh?
Exactly similar. I was just, while Deepak was speaking, I was just trying to think. It's quite similar for us as well. And generally, we look at the usage of data in 3 dimensions. One is for our end consumers, because being the end consumer portal, what we can actually do better for the end consumers. And second vertical is our internal operations, how we can add more productivity and efficiency. And third, we work with a lot of partner ecosystem, how we can actually build better business for them. And if I just look at all these 3 dimensions, some of the use cases that I can think of from an end consumer perspective is to understand the consumer behavior and recommend a product which is better fit for a particular customer. It's like personalization of an insurance product in Policy Bazaar. And I think traditional approach had been a product is being fit to multiple. Now the world is changing, and we are looking for more products which are better suited for a particular segment of consumers. And that is only possible when you have enough data and information available. So that's one area. Other than, there are many use cases. For example, you're buying car insurance for your expired policy. Earlier, you have to get your surveyor for physical examination of a car. Now it is possible through digital information, where you can use data science and machine learning algorithm to figure out the condition of a car and issue a policy on a speedy manner. So these are typical use cases, I'll say, in the context of consumer side. Some of the things which we use very well in order to drive productivity and efficiency, we look at the different customer data points which are being relayed while the customer is coming onto the website or mobile app, or what has been his past behavior. Basis that, we actually decide the operations, and we raise the productivity and efficiency of our operation by aligning the right advisor to those consumers. So if someone who can actually come and buy on his own and doesn't need any kind of advice, we generally trying to avoid those kind of conversations which are not required, and that used to enhance the consumer experience. Alongside, it also raises some bit of productivity and efficiency at our end. So lot of data crunching, lot of data science algorithm work which we do in the background to basically understand the consumer behavior. We also have a huge contact center, because there are certain products where you really need advice while you buy, whether it's life insurance or health insurance. So a lot of voice conversations which happen over the phone, we do the voice analytics. We try to build the transcription of those languages which have been done in multiple regional languages as well as Hindi and English. Try to have a sense out of it, what is happening in the conversation, which also help us in defining the quality of a conversation. If at all, if any conversation is going on a wrong direction, we also mark those conversations to build our customer experience better and enhance our productivity likewise. Also, as Deepak mentioned, that one of the verticals where have been deeply focused, I think this has started happening sometime in the era of COVID, when people have gone more on digital practices. The fraudulent activities have actually gone a little high. So it's very, very important for us to build proper risk analysis algorithm, as well as algorithms to detect fraudulent payments, etc., which are happening on the website through machine learning algorithm, and point it out to the partner ecosystem, so that the quality of business which is being given out to the insurance companies and partner ecosystem, that improves, and that reduces the risk of the business. So that's a third vertical where we stay focused. So data is, in nutshell, is becoming the mainstream of any business that you see right now, which is being run digitally right now.
Okay, you're similar to Deepak's. Yeah, and you had Aditi and Ravina and all, no? As the chatbots. Do you still have them? Voice enabled. That's what you used to call them some years ago, I remember.
Yeah, so that keeps on changing.
I think Deepak has Kia.
Yeah.
How do you pronounce it? I actually went to your site today and figure out
Kia.
how Kia or Kia. Kia.
Yeah.
Okay. I asked her.
It's been quite popular ever since pandemic. I think a lot of customers started to get well versed in converse, and we have almost 65% returning customers on the portal.
Okay.
So yeah, so that's a very interesting thing again.
Yeah, I actually went there. Sorry. Oh, sorry.
No, sorry, Johan. I think I was saying that a lot of things which are very trivial in nature, I think they can be taken up by these bots. That's again a very good use of natural language processing and machine learning chatbots. Yeah.
No, very true. Yeah.
Bijoy, coming to you, how is the hybrid cloud environment helping to increase productivity without compromising on data integrity?
Things have changed, have had a paradigm shift in terms of how we look at data. I remember having 15, 20 years back, when being in distribution, most of our decisions internally used to be based on gut feeling and gut instinct, intuition. Not anymore today. We can't afford that. Also, the way we are aligning as a distribution partner of not just Hewlett Packard Enterprise, but for all other vendor lines, is very different from the way we used to align 10, 15, or even 5 years back. I would again recall that most of our discussions those days earlier used to be centered around how your distribution was basically looked at as logistics and delivery, logistics and credit partner, not at all, frankly, into the how to take a product to the market was not something that distribution was expected to do. That is where the paradigm shift has taken place. Today, when we have discussion even with Kamal and his team or anybody else within Hewlett Packard, it's hardly 5 minutes out of one hour or 2 hours that we spend on these aspects. What we actually discuss is how this is a new product, this is a new technology. How do we take this to the market? Because I think over the last 3-4 years, what has also parallelly happened is there is a plethora of partners who have started getting into this, in the technology market, and it is becoming increasingly difficult for the vendor alone to take their products to the market, to the customers. So there has to be a second line which is taking up, and that is through the tier 2 partner community. And that is where we come in. And with our internal data-driven approach, we are able to find out which market has which partner, what is his customer base. Does that customer base, meet the requirement of the product or technology that we are talking of? And that is where we come in terms of training the team, training the partners. A couple of years back, a distributor having a number of pre-sales people technically qualified, certified, was literally unheard of. Today, if I look at Savex, with all products together, we have close to 50 plus pre-sales team who are technically qualified, who are certified by the respective vendors in their technology, so that they are able to take things forward to the market.
Okay. But this whole shift, capex to opex, how much? What kind of shifts do you see, Bijoy and Manpreet? What have you seen?
See, here we see this is the latest development. In the last 2 years, 2.5 to max 3 years, we see two things happening. One is that earlier Kamal, Deepak, Saurabh, everybody spoke of the requirement of data has increased manifold. Now, to manage that, where do you invest? How do you invest? Do you invest through capex or do you invest through opex? And that is where the change has taken place. In the current scenario, we see more and more, apart from the technical team, the CTOs, ITOs, and so on, apart from them, the finance team also coming into the picture in the decision-making process. And that is where the usage and requirement of investment through OPEX model is coming up very, very strongly. I'm not just talking of, cloud, which is obviously an OPEX model, but then even, on-premise, how do you have security? Because data security is an extremely important factor, which both Deepak and Saurabh has very clearly specified, especially in the financial banking industry. So having on-premise hardware, so as to ensure complete data security, but not having to invest on capex is an area where I think HPE has been in the forefront and has been the first vendor actually to bring in that concept which is slightly different from the way the other players have been using up. Yes, we do see a shift. It has not had I wouldn't say there is a paradigm shift, but yes, we do see a shift taking place. People have started talking about, have started thinking about it. Yes, and going forward, we see that as a future model, which will slowly but surely eclipse the CapEx model.
Yeah. Manpreet, you want to quickly add to that?
Yeah, like VK said that OPEX and CapEx in the last couple of years, it has become very important for a lot of organizations. So people are thinking now to whether to invest their cost or they want to pay as per usage. So this has become a very important aspect of this industry right now. And we have came across so many cases nowadays, even in the government front and even on the corporate front. So that is happening, that like people are now evaluating even the OPEX model.
Okay. Deepak and Saurabh, I mean, help Kamal and Bijoy and all understand. How are you handling your infrastructure to handle all this data and analyze it and all that? What kind of infrastructures, hybrid, cloud, CapEx, OPEX? Deepak, how do you go about it? Deepak, you're muted.
Yeah, I think traditionally we started more as our on-prem our data warehouse and data lake, but increasingly as most of our new applications are born in cloud, or we have ourselves started to migrate some of our newer application on cloud, or some of these are SaaS-based ones. So we have started now to build what we call as a hybrid architecture, which is both combination of what we have on cloud and on-prem. And there again, we have started to look more of this as a multi-cloud kind of an arrangement. So I think most of this today as we speak is largely moving to a cloud first, but we still have traditional data, which is about, I would say 70 to 80% as of now, is largely on-prem. But yeah, I think a couple of years back, had you asked me, we were 100% on-prem. So,
Okay.
so directionally we are changing, but yeah, the pace of that probably will take time as more and more of the applications also move to cloud.
So it's still cautious. You don't want to rush into the cloud right now.
No, it's not about being cautious. For example, one of the biggest systems for any bank is the core banking. Globally, we haven't seen yet a lift and shift of a core banking to cloud.
Okay. Mm-hmm.
So unless some of those systems move on to the cloud, you will always have the constraint of that. So obviously using a Golden Gate and Kafka, we do move data to cloud as for replication, but then the data has to move still from on-prem to cloud. It's not that the data is stored at source in cloud. And when you prioritize these kind of things, you only prioritize on areas where you need data on the fly. For example, as we design our whole digital front-end experience, and if I have to show you real-time insights or people whom you paid last, or I have to bring that data on cloud irrespective of where that is kept. But then if probably I have a loan origination system where you have to view your transaction statement of a home loan. I don't have such an urgency because home loan, there is only one transaction that would hit every month, right? So I don't have to look at those on the fly. So I think wherever we see both the volume and velocity becoming extremely critical to design customer experience, I think those are the areas we have prioritized. Over a period of time, as I said, as some of the new applications move on cloud, for example, as we move largely to Salesforce for a lot of our processes, all the data, be it on the service or on the customer onboarding, will be on SFDC cloud. So gradually we will start seeing this shift happening much faster. But till such time, core banking and some of our other key systems continue to be on-prem. Hybrid is going to be the way forward for us.
Okay. Saurabh?
So I think for our storage, we are largely on cloud. And one of the reasons which Deepak pointed out very clearly is that if your applications are residing on cloud, and if you start building the storage on-prem, it's going to be huge cost, and I think the experience is also going to be compromised. So we have been largely on the cloud, and cloud does offer you not only the ability to expand your storage as and when you want. Also, they give you multi-tier storage capacity as well. So depending on where you want to keep the storage, you can decide at what cost you want to store the records and data. So we are very cloud centric, I would say. And for us, for customer experience, data lake and the responsive data lake is very important, so that we can build the customer experience element around it. And I remember 10 years ago when India never had any big data center, only being provisioned by Tatas and all in the world. We had this in one of our local data centers.
Oh, really?
Yeah. But now, as the time changed and we moved to one of these biggies around AWS and Azure, we moved to the cloud. And secondly, I think multi-cloud strategy is also going to be important. You can't keep everything on one stack. You have to actually have a provision to store information on multiple stacks, so that you can utilize the strengths of each stack as you move forward. So these two options, having at least two cloud options, are necessary for managing your storage and data.
Okay. Kamal, you heard Deepak and Saurabh. Is this the kind of trends that you normally see?
No, absolutely. So either ways, both Deepak and Saurabh are the stalwarts of the industry. So I think they kind of put it in very well. And these are the couple of things that our customers are finding interesting in cloud, right? One is the whole operational experience that they talked about, which is kind of easy to operate, easy to expand, tier across multiple cost as well as performance parameters. And second is the whole economical part of it, which you and Vijay were discussing earlier, which is pay-per-use, expand and contract and stuff like that. And what we see, as Deepak was rightly pointing out, that a whole host of customers are on hybrid and they're going to remain hybrid, right? They're going to have a whole lot of core infrastructure, which is going to be on-prem, barring some exceptions like Saurabh, who are kind of born in cloud kind of organizations. But I'm sure slowly they would also find reasons to have some of the critical infrastructure on-prem because of various reasons, right? It could be regulatory requirements, it could be compliance, it could be policies, it could be comfort, it could be convenience, and it could also be cost, because sometimes it's more expensive to get your own data back from cloud and stuff like that, depending on the volumes that you're talking about. So these are the two aspects that we looked at when about the unified data ops that I talked about. So besides all the other IT benefits, we looked at these two aspects first. And we said, can we bring this cloud operational experience to on-prem environments? Because these are the customers who are going to keep things on-prem. They're also going to have something in cloud, like Deepak rightly pointed out. There are going to be things which are going to be on cloud, but they're going to have a large part of their infrastructure on cloud, on-prem, but they would want the same kind of experience from a very IT perspective as well as from a user perspective. So user would want the same transparency. They don't care what's happening on the background, but can they get access to data? Can they get it streamlined, fast, not see silos? And from an IT perspective, can they find it as easy to manage, operate, right? 2 clicks, 3 clicks, and you are done. While a classical on-prem infrastructure had multiple layers, it had silos, it had complexity. So when you bring in this whole data services cloud console concept to the storage world, you actually bring the cloud operational experience on-prem for managing your storage, right? So it doesn't matter whether you have one array or you have multiple arrays, you have them spread across, you have multiple tiers. All you got to do is leverage the AI ops, which is built in, do a few clicks to provision, to assign, to manage, to give it to workloads, to do things like fleet management, to do things like insight-based, intent-based provisioning that I was talking about, where you just specify the SLA that you want, the capacity that you want, the environment that you want, and the system automatically figures out what is the most optimal way from a performance, from an availability, as well as cost perspective to distribute that workload across your infrastructure that you have. So that's about the cloud operational experience, which our unified data ops or our data services cloud console actually brings to a storage environment. It's an amazing thing, and kind of obviously not on this forum, but happy to kind of walk people through the experience in terms of how they can do all these tasks, which are supposedly complex in a couple of clicks and stuff like that. The other aspect is what you were talking about from a modeling perspective, which is how do I bring the cloud economic model? And that's where our Green Lake comes in, which is not just translating capex to opex. It's way beyond that, because it's also bringing the flexibility that you have from a consumption perspective onto your on-prem infrastructure. So you have the comfort and the convenience and the regulatory comfort and so on and so forth of having your on-prem infrastructure, but you're able to leverage the whole economic experience by paying as you use, by paying in multiple facets, whatever suits your business best in terms of a per GB, per TB, in terms of the tiers of the data and stuff like that. Thus taking away the whole capex and planning the whole capex and upgrades and all that stuff out of the window, just making sure that you have what you need, you're able to dip into it as and when required, and you have certain buffers built in which you can dip into. So if your business kind of has that level of unpredictability or growth, and that's what people are seeing on their data infrastructure consistently. So I think so that's the first part of the question. But I was finding it very, very interesting when Deepak and Saurabh were talking about what they're doing with their data and how they're leveraging it to bring in efficiency in sales and marketing, for example, efficiency in terms of how they do their operations, reduce cost, reduce risk for that matter. And that is the whole concept that we're trying to bring from a IT or a data infrastructure perspective, which is how do we use this whole multiples of petabytes and multiple of arrays or thousands of arrays that we have across the globe in terms of leveraging the AI ops or ML ops and driving the efficiency from an IT perspective, both in terms of usage, in terms of driving down the risk profile of a downtime or of an availability and the data risk and so on and so forth, and give that experience back to our customers from a technology perspective. And that's what this whole unified data ops is all about. Just help IT in terms of their ability to leverage data, bring up the efficiency of the IT organization, because they no longer spend time on these operational aspects, because the system does it for them, and they have the whole lot of time for in terms of driving innovation and productivity gain and so on and so forth. So I think that was very, very insightful in terms of what Anand sort of talked about, and that's theme that we're kind of running with in terms of bringing our own infrastructure to our customers.
Deepak, a quick one to you. I mean, as you move to a hybrid cloud thing, how are you finding the whole idea, thing of handling data across these multiple clouds and on-prem and all that? Simple enough, or do you think a lot more simplicity is possible?
I think the way we look at it is how are we leveraging data and what are the end use cases of data? That determines, like when I was talking about, if I have to build in the insight layer on say a digital channel, I may have data sitting across different source systems, either on-prem or on multi-cloud. I have no choice but to bring it across in a single environment. And that's when I talk about the whole data streaming and replicating of data, all that becomes important. So yes, I think the more you move to a multi-cloud, it's only going to be complex. I will never say multi-cloud is easy. Globally, I think multi-cloud has never been easy. But just that we are now in this space where you may choose infrastructure as a service, one single cloud provider. But moment we go through various SaaS players, and they may be hosted on different cloud environment. So that is bound to create complexity as we look at this model. So I think data in itself, just rather than keeping it as a project, we look at what is the end use case of data, which is monetizable either through an experience or cross-sell or engagement, and then start seeing that what is that effort that is taken only to bring those relevant data around which we are building use case, rather than just trying to bring all data everywhere.
Okay. Shilpa?
Yeah, Saurabh, what kind of data do you collect, and what are some of the technologies that are important in collecting this data? A lot of social metrics also, do you do?
Yeah, so I think we are very primarily in-house driven organization. We build technologies from scratch. So for us, every customer footprint which is coming onto the website is being stored in terms of events. So we use multiple tools which captures events, interactions that consumers are doing on the website. We do capture the conversation, as I mentioned, any conversation which is happening between our advisors and the consumers for suggesting which plan suits them better, what kind of product they should be buying. All these conversations are being stored and we capture them. Also, what is very, very important for our business that we should be able to get a customer to buy multiple products over a period of time. So we also store the entire customer journey history. We preserve everything which has been done for last 12 years, not only from a customer experience perspective, also from a regulatory angle. We need the information to be stored in the system. And we do use all the latest cutting technologies which you talk about, Kafka, Google Analytics, any event management tool which captures the various events and dumps into the database. And then we put them all back into a data lake, which is one single environment for any and every kind of data that is being captured across multiple applications and multiple clouds, if at all we are using multiple cloud in one data lake. And then we use that data from that data lake to analyze and build our machine learning and data science models. And entire data lake is being used as a pillar to drive reporting, monitoring, analysis, and any kind of customer experience driven experiments that we want to do. So data lake is the soul of everything right now.
Data lake, okay. I have a question here for Deepak, but before I come to that, Bijoy and Manpreet, Deepak, Saurabh all talked about the issue of security. Tell us, so data now center stage. Is data protection really getting its due from all that you see across your customers? All of them doing the necessary precautions? Ransomware threats have become quite widespread. How do you deal with such threats? Bijoy, Manpreet?
I think Manpreet would be in a better position
Okay, Manpreet?
on to this.
So ransomware, yes, definitely in current scenario, it has become a great threat for the data. As we know that the data is a new fuel. It is getting increased day by day. And protection of that data is really very important. And so are the hackers and those are having the ransomware attack on these data. So, this ransomware attacks, it can be protected at the network level, or even the data protection software and various other, the protection mechanism are there to protect that. But yes, customer data, which is very important, data is the money right now. So that is a great threat, and we, various companies, various OEMs are giving various kind of solutions to deal with it. So data, which is ransomware, is not with the live data, which we are using on the production, but even the data which we have backed up for the customer, even that data is under threat.
Okay.
Sujit, just to add to what Manpreet was saying, in a very simple language without getting into technicalities, what I personally do see is a lot more emphasis, a lot more thought from end customers, users on data security. They are far more worried these days as opposed to even maybe 2 years back, when if you speak to a customer regarding possibility of ransom attacks and so on and so forth, yeah, it's there, but not really my core requirement. But these days, all of them, or I would say most of them, is definitely talking a different language. I'm sure Deepak at Kotak Mahindra and Saurabh would be in a far better position to talk about it, because they are mostly there for the attack.
Absolutely. Deepak, Saurabh, are there some new approaches emerging in security? What is it, zero trust and all that? Is that the latest?
So I think, see, data at an enterprise level, there was always, at least in financial service, there was a paranoia about the data security. I can't talk about other enterprises, but I can definitely speak for financial service. Because being a regulated entity, if you have a breach, it's also a big reputational issue apart from just the security issue. While at the customer level, I think awareness is still low, but at enterprise level, that was never the case. And I think when we look at today data, be it from privacy or from security lens, I think a significant investments are being made, be it in terms of encryption of data across all the systems or tokenization, payload movement, because somewhere, be it like, for example, banks were the first ones to even get access to Aadhaar database to onboard customer. But it came with a lot of restrictions that, we had to implement a data vault so that you are not going to keep Aadhaar number per se in any of the systems. And banks have hundreds of systems. Just think of it, the project of data masking across all systems, ensuring that as and when you look for a KYC detail, you only get a reference number in an encrypted form and not the source data. And I think projects like these, maybe they've not been spoken about in the past, but last 4 to 5 years, banks have gone similarly, be it your passwords, secret questions, the whole payment data, and your channel access data from InfoSec perspective, as we start implementing a lot of solution which are sitting on the device to look at if you have a malware and you are accessing a banking application. How do I detect and ensure at the real time I'm able to either block or I'm going to bring that information out. So when I talk about security, the security itself has again many layers. I mean, right from my storage level security to now when we move to a multi-cloud, even though we host on cloud, finally the security risk is still of enterprise. You can't outsource that risk. I mean, even though we are outsourcing storage and compute. So this has just become, I would say, many X more complex than what it was 5 years back when we had just single on-prem data source, very little of digital channels and a lot more of physical world. Things were better. And I think this is one of the things that gives us sleepless nights to always keep looking at what is that unknown that we probably are not aware of, and that can come and hit us at any time.
Oh, wow. Yeah, I'm sure. Saurabh,
so when Deepak was speaking, I was just feeling that I am speaking, So the sleepless nights is a word which is always there. And no matter how hard you try to basically protect and put any kind of security that you want, the unknown haunts us, I mean, which don't know where things are gonna basically go for a toss. But especially on the financial services, as Deepak said, the security is very, very important to every business. And in fact, the way we see that this should start right from the inception. The moment you start working on an application, it should basically be thought through at the time of design and architecture, so that you don't do any post facto work. You should rather do before your application is born. So that's the first fundamental that we keep it in our company. Then whenever the application has been done, it should also go through the one round of vulnerability assessment at every aspect. Then the deployment should also have the network layer protection. And then final protection is definitely at the edge. When the consumers are going to basically use it, we have to protect the entire application so that at least any vulnerability which is kind of being available within our network, at least it should not pass through the edge. And on and beyond all this, you should have some measures to understand if you have traffic which is all of a sudden has gone a different level, there should be alert and monitoring present should be there. So after doing all this, still you might come across something which you might not be aware of. Encryptions, anything, I think multi-level approach can be applied, but still you have to keep your fingers crossed.
Yeah. But a lot of your data is with you or with the insurers that you tie up with. It's mix of both.
No, our data is with us. So I think whatever, we take consumers' consent to basically have data on our systems only, and we don't share with anyone. So that we can't do that.
Okay. Kamal, you want to add to that?
Yeah, sure. I think as far as data security is concerned, obviously financial services, like Deepak said, has been on this journey from the day automation and digitization started in the banks and other financial institutions. But this is not just anymore restricted to the financial institutions. Obviously, the regulatory environment and the regulatory scrutiny in a financial organization is a lot more. The onus, the responsibility is a lot more severe. But any organization, right? And an organization like ours, which is global, multi-country, also has those concerns. We also are responsible from a data privacy perspective, customer data that we kind of hold, like Saurabh was talking about. And you now look at, when you start talking about leveraging data for so many of your operations, for any organization, big or small, it also becomes a strategic asset, right? So irrespective of your regulatory concerns or not, you still want to be protective of your data. And additionally, it is also about data being available all the time, right? So you need the access to applications all the time, and the applications need access to data. So you cannot afford in a 24/7 operation that we live in today any data loss or any kind of downtime at all. And hence, one of the dimensions that I want to talk about is to kind of look at data protection, and especially in the complexity that the technology world is facing today, what Deepak was alluding to in terms of having your infrastructure at the edge, core, cloud, multi-cloud, and stuff like that. So we're looking at a platform, for example, just to pick up one example from our portfolio, which is Zerto, which is a software-only platform. It's an always-on replication, and it gives you the flexibility to protect from between clouds of all kinds, whether it's your private cloud on-prem, or your edge cloud, or your public cloud, or a completely cloud native hybrid kind of environment. That kind of covers it all, and without any the classical performance sapping snapshots or agents or managing or micromanaging the backup window. Because one of the things I think that Vijay talked about was ransomware, right? And those guys, and especially we saw it a lot, and it's kind of projected to be a multi-billion impact on the industry across the globe, especially during the pandemic. A lot of these fraudulent activities increased. Pharma, for example, got impacted big time in terms of ransomware attack. And this platform that I was talking about has a very simple approach, which is something what we call as continuous data protection. So we're protecting it all the time. And hence, let's say a ransomware attack happens at 10 p.m. You can go back and recover from 9:59:30, something like that, right? And you can obviously set it up to a certain level and stuff like that. And that gives you the ability to be able to stand up and say, okay, I'm protected from one of the threat aspects that's there. It's also about how do you kind of migrate between clouds. It is also about how do you actually manage it across the multiple environments that you have. Because while you might be exposing some part of your data to a particular cloud application for, like people saying, for better responsiveness or for other workload environments, but you still need to have it synced back to your original source, right? So say whether you're running 15 VMs or you're running 15,000, this platform reduces the time that you spend on this whole data management and gives you the granularity of the protection. So that's one approach, for example, from an overarching disaster recovery, backup, and data protection perspective.
Okay. Multiple related questions all around on this theme, actually, from the audience. Shilpa, I got two questions here. Let me just quickly read that. One is from Mahendra Karandikar asking, how adherent is the banking industry to the GDPR rules? Is all banking data of Indian customers stored in servers on the Indian soil? And there's Murli Sharma asking, how do warlike conditions like what we see currently impact banks' decisions on data security? Are any additional measures taken? Deepak, you want to take some of those?
I think banks were always compliant to the GDPR regulation for all the global clients because that's mandatory, and I think that got rolled out. For Indian customers, we obviously are prepared for the Indian Data Protection Bill, which obviously addresses many of the concerns, not just of banking, but other ecosystems that financial service industry also connects with. All right. So I think it's not just about what banks do within their own environment. I think today, thanks to the whole API, open and connected banking, or the integration with different merchants, enterprises, there is a much larger play around how the data at rest and data in motion is getting addressed. So I think banks are cognizant and are prepared. In fact, we were one of the first banks to put together the whole data governance framework much before the Indian Data Protection Bill is going to be out. And I think this is not just about compliance, and that's the way banks have looked at it. In my mind, this is a good business practice because finally trust redefines the brand, and for a financial service, trust lies at the core. So what data do we capture? How do we store? How do we process? For what reason? I think over a period of time, customers are going to increasingly demand that. But financial institutions like banks have already started working on it much before that change will happen around us.
Okay. Any change that has happened because of the war?
I think threat is an ongoing stuff. I would say while we don't know, again, as I said, there is a lot of unknown, but we have to always keep ourselves on guard. I mean, I don't think war changes any of the threat perception. Even without a war, we are always at war. I would say that way.
Yeah, so very true.
Saurabh, you want to add to that?
No, I think what Deepak said is very right. Sorry. Am I audible?
There's some problem, but it's okay now, I think.
Yeah. So I'm saying the good governance is very, very important around data. That's the standard practice. And I know, I mean, that is something which every organization has to keep an eye on it. And for banks, I know especially it is very, very important because of the financials regularities that is needed around it. So we also take it very seriously. But in terms of compliance or being the GDPR compliant, I think that's an area where we are still looking at. If at all we have to look out for some kind of compliance, we'll focus upon that. Otherwise, the governance is in place, data governance is in place.
Okay. Shilpa, do you have any?
No more questions.
Yes. Bijoy, Manpreet, you wanted to add anything? We are almost out of time. Savex, how is it responding to all of this, these changes?
I think we are changing. The whole thing is that we have to change with the changing scenario to reinvent ourselves, and we're continuously doing that. Having grown from a pretty small organization to today a $3 billion organization handling multiple vendor lines and multiple products, we've had to build up our IT infrastructure very heavily. And obviously and since we deal with a lot of multinational organizations, global organizations, we have to abide by their, just as Deepak mentioned and Saurabh mentioned that they have regulatory requirements. Similarly, we have, and we are shaping up to those requirements constantly. Thanks.
Like we say, change is the only constant. We have to change with the time, with the industry. So we are adapting and we are changing according to the requirement. And that is important if you want to stay in the race.
No, absolutely. We're at 5 o'clock. No, I mean, yeah, lots of changes happening all the time. Great discussion. Yes, enormous amounts of data that all of us are using now, and fascinating technologies emerging to harness it, analyze it, draw insights from it. And as all of you said, security, of course, has become a core part of this entire thing. Again, there are two amazing technologies emerging to tackle all of those. So thanks a lot, Kamal, Deepak, Saurabh, Bijoy, Manpreet, for a great discussion on data. Hope to have you again on the platform. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Bye.
Thanks.
Thank
It was
you.
wonderful
Thanks,
being here.
everyone.
Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.